Hi everyone, today we are going to discuss problem on Gauss Seidel method. So this method is a modification of Gauss-Jacobi method or Gauss iterative method, guys. When you think about the Gauss Seidel method, so this is just like Gauss iterative method. Because of that, this is a modified method. So that this is a modification of Gauss iterative method in which as soon as a new approximation of unknown variable is obtained, we have to use it immediately next calculation. So there is a major differences. What is that here? Difference between Gauss iterative method and Gauss Seidel method is that I am writing here, this is a modification. This is a modification of Gauss iterative method. Gauss iterative method in which as soon as a new approximation, as soon as new approximation, as soon as you will get the new approximation of unknowns of n unknowns means the values of x, y and z is obtained, it is used immediately. Then I am writing here, it is used immediately in the next calculation. So here this is some advanced method of Gauss iterative method. We have to use approximation of recent approximation immediately and we do the next calculation is there. So let me start problem on Gauss Seidel method. Let's see. So I'm writing some equations here given in a question. So first one is 27x plus 6y, 27x plus 6y minus z, that is equal to 85. The next one is 6x plus 15y plus 2z, that is equal to 72. Next one is x plus y plus 54z, that is equal to 110. So we have to getting these three linear equation and we have to solve this linear equation by using Gauss Seidel method. So let's see, we start the solution now. We have to solve this by using Gauss Seidel method. So solution I am writing here. So how to find the values of unknown? Our aim is clearly, so our aim is we have to find unknowns, by Gauss Seidel method. So let's see how it will be solved. So first write the equation as in the previous method we have to see how to write the equation. So let me start. We first write the equation as x equals to 1 upon 27 in bracket, that is 85 here guys, 85 minus 6y plus z is there. Now next we have to also taking the value for y as clearly, you have to observe the question number second, y as clearly here 1 upon 15. I am taking 1 upon 15 and other terms shifted on RHS, so we will have to getting that is 72 minus 6x minus 2z is there. And clearly we have to getting value for z as 1 divided by here 54, 1 divided by here 54 in bracket here 110 minus x and minus y. So these are the values for y. For consideration or for assumption, we have to label this equation as equation number 1, 2 and 3. Now you have to take the first iteration guys, you have to take the first iteration. So how to take the first iteration? So I am writing here, so first iteration. So clearly for first iteration we have to use find the values of y's, find the value of x in first iteration. So for that we start with the approximation value for y and z as a 0. Let's see. We start approximation. We start the approximation value for y is equal to 0 and z is equal to 0, and we get equation 1 as so this is value for x, and x is equal to here 1 upon 27, right? This is 85 minus 6y plus z, that can be calculated. It becomes 1 upon 27 in bracket 85 minus value of y is a 0 and value of z is also 0, so that's why this is nothing but it is 85 divided by 27. So therefore value of x for first iteration as x1, and x1 is equal to, you have to getting here 3.15. So for first iteration we have to also find the value of y, and for value of y we have to value of x recently used for value of y is a 3.15. so therefore I am writing here, use x1 for value of y1 and z is equal to 0. Equation 2 becomes. So what will get the equation 2 here? Clearly y1, that is a first iteration of value of y as a y1, and y1 taking as here 1 divided by 15. 1 divided by 15, you know that value for y as that is a 72 minus here 6x minus here 2z. 72 minus 6x minus 2z. So we have to use the recently value of x1. So this is 1 divided by 15 in bracket, that is 72 minus 6 into recently value of x is a 3.15 guys, 3.15, and minus 2 into z becomes here totally 0 because of you have to taken value for first approximation as z is a 0. So therefore this is nothing but here we get, after calculation we get the value of y1 is a 3.54. so clearly y1 is a 3.54. Similarly use y1 and x1 in equation 3, we get z, we get value of z, or value of first iteration about z1 is z1. So therefore this is z1 is equal to, z1 is clearly we will have to obtain, this is 1 divided by, what is that, 1 divided by 54 in bracket 110 minus x minus y. We have to use the value for x and y. This will get 1 divided by 54, or not, yes, this is 1 divided by 54 in bracket, that is a 110 minus value of x1 is a 3.15 and minus value of y is means y1 value you have to use recently value, that is a 3.54. so what we'll have to getting here, the values after calculation 1.91. so this is all about first iteration guys, this is all about first iteration. So similarly you have to take the next iteration. So I am starting here next iteration, that is iteration second. So second iteration, so you have to use recently values for each value of iteration. So let's see, you have to understand and very concentrate here. You have to use recently values for next iteration, that's all, nothing much more than it. You have to use recently value for next iteration. So let's see, now we have to take, suppose here second iteration for x as x2, and x2 it becomes what is the value of x2 is now, that is a 1 upon 27 in a bracket, that is 85 minus 6 into y recently we have to calculate, that is 3.54, right, plus value of z, it is nothing but recently 1.91, and after calculating you will have to getting x2 clearly here 2.43 guys, 2.43. also you have to take next iteration for value of y2 is 1 upon 15 in a bracket, you have to use the recently values, that is 72 minus here 6 into recently value of x2 is 2.43 bracket complete here, and minus 2 into recently value of z is 1.91. so you have to taking the calculation here. After the calculation you have to getting the value for y2 as 3.57. now also you have to take the value for z3 keeping above recently iteration for values of x and y. So z3 it is nothing but 1 by 54. It is nothing but it is 110 minus value of x. Recently we have to calculate value of x is 2.43 minus value of y. Recently use the values. So which values is here? 3.57. So 3.57 we use here. And after taking calculation you have to getting the value of z2, not here z3 because second iteration is going on. So this is a z2. So z2 equal to, after taking calculation, this is 1.93. So this is second iteration of values for x, y and z as x2, y2 and z2. Now we are going to discuss here third iteration. So simply you have to take the recently values for next iteration. Means here I am writing here third iteration. So how we'll take the third iteration, guys? So let's see, you have to use the recently value for x. Next iteration, suppose I am writing here x3. Next iteration, suppose I am writing here x3. So how to write x3? X3 is 1 upon here 27 in bracket 85 minus here 6 into y. So recently y calculated as 3.57. So I am writing here 3.57. Now this plus recently z is calculated z as 1.93. This is value of x3. Calculate this value of x3, and after calculating the value of x3 as a 2.43. Now you are to taking the next iteration as for third iteration, means for value of y it becomes y3. It becomes y3, and y3 is nothing but this is 1 upon 15 in bracket, that is a 72 minus 6x. X recently calculated, this is 2.43 minus 2 into here z. Z recently calculated, it is 1.93. After taking calculation you will have to getting y3 as 3.57. Now next you are to taking here also next iteration for z3, means next iteration for z as z3, and z3 taking as 1 upon 54 in bracket, that is a 110 minus x. Recently x calculated, it is a 2.43 minus y. Recently y is also calculated 3.57, and it will get the value of z3 as it is a 1.93. Guys, you observe here both values by observation in second iteration, in second, and I am writing directly here third iteration, the values of unknowns, that is x comma y comma z are same. So therefore we stop the iteration. Therefore we stop the process of iteration, guys. Means if you are to getting the value of two consecutive iterations are same, then you have to stop this process, and finally you have to conclude that the values of x, y and z. So therefore since I am writing again, since the second and third iteration gives the same values of x comma y comma z. Therefore x is equal to 2.43, y is equal to 3.57, Z is equal to 1.93. B a required solution. B a required solution, or this is a value of unknowns, guys. I hope you have to understand this Gauss Seidel method and how to take the iterations and where is stop. I hope so you have to understand very well. Once again, I repeat these iterations. So let's see. We discuss here problems on Gauss Seidel method. You see the problem is given to you, and what is your aim? To find the values of unknowns by Gauss Seidel method. You have to write the equation as such a form, that is x equal to y equal to z equal to, for calculate the value of unknowns, guys. That's why we have to write the values of x, y, z in is equation 1, 2 and 3 in this way. So taking first iteration, for first iteration you have to first find the values of x1. For that, taking other variables, means other y and z, keeping the 0. So we have to getting the value of x1. You have to getting the value of x1, and after that you use the x1 for further iteration. So further iteration is, what is that? You have to find, suppose, value of y1. You have to use x as recently calculated, that is a 3.15, right, guys? And now also you have to write here z1, and for value of z1 you have to also calculate here uh, recently values y1 and y2 is there, right? So in this way you have to also find the next iteration. Next iteration becomes second iteration, that values for second iteration gives x2, y2, z2. Use the recently values of x, y, z, guys, and by taking some iterations you have to till the same values for two consecutive iterations. And you observe here in second and third iteration, x, y and z gives the same value. X, y and z gives the same value. That's why we stop here and conclude that what is the value of x, y and z, and this is a solution. This is a solution. I hope you have to understand this very well and enjoy this session, guys. Thank you.